Okay, this may be a long story, but I'm ready to tell people of Reddit my story of Let's Not Meets. This first started when I was in my first year of sixth form. My friend, let's say her name was Candle. She introduced me to her friend, let's call her Amanda. I used to chat to Amanda every day for the next 2 weeks, simply because she used to message me constantly. She seemed like a nice girl at first until she started to make me feel uncomfortable around her, as she used to message me, "I want to cuddle you like a big teddy bear," and similar things to that, and I shot it down and she got upset and threatened to call the police on me if I didn't go on a date with her. I'm a gay guy, BTW, but I wasn't out of the closet at this point in my life. I screenshotted everything she said to me, and I showed my friend Candle, and she stated, "Yeah, I believe you. She a compulsive liar? She lied about a teacher saying her and used to make things up to make her sound better than everyone else." I was so glad Candle believed me and advised me to block Amanda, which I did. Fast forward 2 years later, I was now in college and I encountered her again. I didn't recognize her and was chatting to her without realizing she was the same Amanda from 2 years prior. That was until I messaged Candle on Facebook, as Amanda told me she knew Candle. Candle sent me a long paragraph. You do realize that's Amanda, right? Then it all came flooding back to me. She's right, it's the same girl who threatened to call the police on me for not going on a date with her. She was dating a friend. Now, bestest friend. Of mine in college, I tried to warn him, but he didn't listen to me. Amanda claimed to have a crush on me a second time. I shot it down right away and told her I'm not interested. She obviously took offense to that and threatened to call the police again. To which I replied, "What's police going to do? This isn't a police matter," which, by looked at her facial expression, angered her more, but she walked off. The next couple of weeks go by. I ended up telling my friend about what she's been messaging me with, and he obviously believed me as he saw her messaging me in real time. She kept asking me on a date and saying she liked me since day one, etc. But here's the thing. She was in a relationship with my friend. Naturally, my friend got upset and called her in front of me, and she claimed she had no clue what he's talking about and told him I'm making up lies. Then he forgave her, as she admitted it was true just a week later. 2. My annoyance, she began hanging out with us. I was nice to her because I didn't want my friend to get upset. She tried telling me she had 2 children at 17, with one being 13 and one being 3 years old. I thought that's odd. How is she 17 and having a 13-year-old child? She would have been 4. Something wasn't adding up. She stated she was SA'd when she was young. I should have called her out, but my friend was there and I didn't want to upset him. She even stated the 3-year-old child was my friend's daughter. Even he looked confused, like it was the first time he ever heard of this child. When she went home, I asked him. He stated, "No idea, she never mentioned a child before now, and we definitely never had S*X, very strange." Fast forward a year, I was working in a shop. She suddenly showed up and asked to speak to me. My manager let me go on my 30-minute lunch. She was with her friend, and she wanted to tell me that my best friend, let's officially give him the name Marcus, was manipulating her and always hurting her, which I knew for a fact wasn't true. Marcus wouldn't hurt a fly, but I listened to whatever else she wanted to say. She said she was trapped in a relationship with him and felt scared of him. No idea why she was telling me this, knowing I don't like her. I just made out I believed her and headed back to work. I came home and FaceTimed Marcus and told him everything she told me earlier that day. He started crying his eyes out because he found out she cheated on him with another guy. A friend of his showed him a picture as proof and forwarded it to me. It was definitely a picture of her with some guy kissing on a bus. I told Marcus he needs to get away from her ASAP, which he did, until the next day they were back together, as he yet again forgave her. We started doing group video chats, me, Marcus, and Amanda, at her request. And remember her 3-year-old from the year prior? Well, now she's a 5-year-old called Lily, who literally never existed. And I asked her about the 13-year-old she mentioned, and she replied with, "I don't have a child other than Lily." And the next couple of months go by, and she used to say Lily's in bed, or Lily's at school, etc. When I call her out, she used to show us Lily by turning the camera to a pitch black area of her bedroom and quickly put the camera back to her. I thought this was odd and said, "Why did you move the camera so fast? We didn't see anything." She then replied, "Because she's camera shy," or "she's asleep." I couldn't take it anymore. It was excuse after excuse. If Lily was Marcus's daughter, he deserves to see her, as he literally never met or see this Lily. Not even once. I sent her a long message stating that Lily does not exist, and why no pictures of her. Then I blocked her because I had enough of her playing games with my best friend. She then went on people's Facebook, and I kid you not, she took photos of random people's children and claimed them as Lily. Me and Marcus looked at each other and knew these were different pictures of random kids. Some of them wasn't even girls. This went on until one day me and Marcus went to Amanda's mother's workplace, and Marcus showed her all the messages, especially the ones about this Lily, and the many pictures of her and random guys she meets up with. Some of the men Amanda met up with were like 50, 60 years old. And we found her on a dating website asking for men to fatten her up. We showed everything to Amanda's mother. Her mother was furious. She said Amanda never had kids, she was never SA'd as a child, and knew something was odd as she got into some random man's car just the day before. I thought this was the end of Amanda, but I couldn't be more wrong as Marcus, like an idiot, met up with her that evening and forgave her for the millionth time. And then something strange happened the next day. Marcus called me on FaceTime and he was furious at me. I asked him what's going on and what did I do. He told me I was a bad friend and he wants to cut me out of his life. I was in shock, and I heard Amanda laughing in the background, then it clicked. She said something about me which wasn't true, and now me and Marcus are arguing like crazy, and he blocked me on everything, which broke my heart as this boy was my best friend, and now he's believing his compulsive lying girlfriend over me. Me and Marcus were having on and off arguments all the time, and Amanda was at the root of it, telling him lies and manipulating him like she was jealous of our friendship. Maybe she thought I was a threat to her relationship with Marcus and tried to split us up as best friends. She literally used to invite me out with them, and when I turn up, she used to be like, "I wanted to spend time with you, why is he here? Excuse me? You're the one who invited me." This happened every single time until one time I snapped back at her, which made her cry, but I didn't care. She needed to stop doing this to me as it wasn't healthy for my mental health. A few weeks go by, Marcus was texting me on Facebook Messenger, and we were having a laugh like we used to. He went to the toilet as he was with Amanda. Then I suddenly got a text from Marcus again saying, "Hi, it's Amanda." I replied with, "Hey." And she started sending me threatening messages, saying I need to leave Marcus alone, and he doesn't like me, and I need to move on. I was like, what the F***CK? I ended up arguing with her over this, saying, why the hell is she using his phone sending me these messages? Amanda was like, I dare you come say it to my face. At this point, I had enough and contacted a friend of mine, let's call her Jasmine, and told her the situation. I ended up in tears on the phone. I've known Jasmine since primary school, and we've been close friends since, so she naturally got defensive and asked me to get in her car and she'll drop me off where they are so I can say it to her face. Jasmine wanted to hurt Amanda for what she's done to me. We saw them, and we confronted them. Marcus genuinely had no clue what was going on until I showed him the messages Amanda sent on his phone. He was furious and walked off in tears. I ran after him, leaving Amanda and Jasmine alone. Me and Marcus hugged it out, and we had a talk about what's happened. He was telling me that he isn't allowed friends anymore, and Amanda even made him choose between her and his family, which made me furious even more. I had enough of the way she's treating my best friend. The next day, Jasmine messaged me and said she can't be friends anymore as I was bullying Amanda for months, which wasn't true. I would never bully anyone. I said to Jasmine if she was my real friend, she would know Amanda was lying, but obviously not. To this very day, I never saw Jasmine again. This felt like a big betrayal of our friendship, and I would never talk to Jasmine ever again. This was over 6 years ago now. Me and Marcus was getting on better, and he wasn't letting Amanda manipulate him anymore. That was until these boys come into our lives. Well, first was another girl I was friends with called Alice. I known Alice for years, and I invited her out with me and Marcus to a pub for a few drinks. It was a nice evening, and Alice even called Amanda and told her she needs to leave Marcus alone. We were drunk, and that evening when we were saying goodbye, as I was naturally worried for Marcus as he's like a little brother to me at this point, Alice asked if I was gay, which I am gay, but I wasn't out of the closet yet, so I responded with no. And Alice said, "Then why you worried about Marcus? You obviously fancy him." Well, no, he's like a brother to me, and we've been through a lot because of Amanda, so I obviously do care about him. I thought to forget about this conversation as I assumed she was just making conversation. Alice messaged Marcus asking him out on a date on a messaging app, and by end of that week they started dating. I was happy he's moving on from Amanda. Boy, was I wrong. I started receiving messages from Alice's brother and his friend stating to slice my throat and messaging Marcus to help them beat me up. We was talked into joining group video call, and the call contained me, Marcus, Amanda, and Alice's brother and his friend, saying horrible things towards me, saying I should die, and I hurt women, which wasn't true. It was more of Amanda's lies, and I was messaging Marcus to back me up because he was quiet while I'm trying to defend myself against these guys. He just read my messages and still sat there not saying anything. At this point, I had enough and just left the call and left the group and blocked a lot of them, a part of Marcus. Marcus called me the next morning saying sorry for not defending me. I replied with, "Well, that isn't good enough. They were literally threatening me." Marcus went quiet and said sorry again. By that point, I ended the call because I couldn't be bothered with this stress anymore. Next thing I know, Alice was denying that she ever dated Marcus and claiming I made a fake account of her on the messaging app. Are you serious, mate? I also noticed Alice was being besties with Amanda on Facebook, so that's the puzzle fitting. At this point, I wanted to end my life. I was at my lowest. I was losing all my friends because of this Amanda. This was the start of my depression getting worse and worse. Me and Marcus eventually made up, and we are best friends again, but there was a time period where we didn't talk for over a year. I guess that's me trying to move on with my life. But we eventually started talking again, and me and Marcus met up again, just the two of us, and he was saying how sorry he was for everything he's done. I said it's okay, he was under Amanda's control. Fast forward to 2024, Marcus has a new fiancée who is a lovely girl, and I'm going to be best man at his wedding because this part I did miss out in the story. I stopped him from jumping every time Amanda cheated on him. I was always there for him. He now sees I was always there for him, and we are closer than ever. He even defends me a lot more nowadays and always has my back. I've seen Amanda here and there a few times, but I don't even acknowledge her, or them, as Amanda is now non-binary, which I don't believe, as it could be another lie for attention. But I'm not judging. If that's how they feel, then that's up to them, but that doesn't change the person who nearly destroyed my life. Last time I saw Amanda was last year at Pride. They were pointing at me, showing their current boyfriend who I am. I didn't notice until my other best friend, not Marcus, pointed it out to me. That was the last time I ever saw them, and hopefully never again. There's a lot I missed out on this story as it happened over a couple of years. But I just want to say, Amanda, let's not meet ever again.